people of Reddit, what is it like to be super attractive? I once asked another male coworker this. He was an aspiring model, not like a sports model or something, just a really good looking guy who was in catalogs and stuff, and he said I don't know, because I don't know what else to compare it to. He made a good point. 90% people I meet has an impression I'm a man whore. I totally thought my husband was a cheater/man whore cause he had a six pack and looked like a Norse warrior, haha. Turns out he is a total homebody who likes collecting antiques. Most women assume I F everything that walks, because it'll F me, but I've only ever F'd one person, my wife. Mert. But apparently good looking guys cheat less according to another post I saw on Reddit. Probably because they don't have to rely on sex to boost their self-esteem. That's because good looking guys tend to see a broader spectrum of significant others and understand that sex is only a very small part of the puzzle. Pussy is everywhere, chemistry is not. What makes you say this? I've known plenty of shallow attractive people. I once went on 2 dates with a really beautiful girl. I'm not attractive, I'm on Reddit, and I think the only reason she spent any time with me at all was because I listened to what she had to say. Anyway, I asked her what it was like. She said every guy wants to F me, and every girl hates me. It's really lonely. In the moment it struck me as really sad, and it came off as sincere. I got married, and most of my friends dropped off the face of the earth. Also suddenly I became a bit more viable as a friend to the same sex, and a lot less to the opposite sex. I'm still ahead, because of the +1 spouse, but damn. Can't a person have friends who aren't conditional on being single? Jokes on them. I have a bunch of still single friends who now ask for matchmaking and crap. Apparently married people automatically get skill points in that. If it makes you feel any better, sometimes it's just tough for single people to hang out with married people. I mean, not all the time, but it happens. A lot of my friends recently started getting married and or having kids. Yada early 30s. I'm still single. Yada early 30s. So if I want to hang out with them, it's always a couples thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm super happy for them and all, but it can be tough being the perpetual third wheel. Like, no, I don't really want to go to a couples pottery class because I'll just end up drinking too many cocktails and wishing I had brought my dog to play with. You know, that is a really good point. I get a lot of questions like, is spouse coming? And everyone's always so surprised when no, spouse isn't interested in this activity. Just me today. Goes double for the ones who met us together instead of separately. I know 2 married couples. One is my best friend and best friend-in-law. I have known the woman for well over a decade at this point. The other one I have known the woman for probably 2 decades. I consider both my friends and keep meaning to drop the second one off a cake that says congrats on the 6, cause she is prego. Best friend-in-law made me giggle. That's a great caption for a cake, lol. For birthdays, I like happy womb escape anniversary. As a girl who's pretty confident in her looks, I tend to stay away from people who claim that being attractive is so damn hard. Anyone can be ugly if they put their mind to it. Not everyone can be super hot. Also, if every girl hates her, there's probably a good reason for that. That doesn't include her looks. Most of my girlfriends are gorgeous, and they are great people. We exchange clothes, beauty tips, and are very supportive of one another. I'm sure there are many insecure girls who hate pretty girls, but I don't know any of them. Also, if every girl hates her, there's probably a good reason for that. That doesn't include her looks. I had a friend like this. She claimed that every time she made female friends they would get jealous and leave her. As I got to know her better, I came to realize she saw everything we did as a competition. She would insult me when we were around other people and downplay every good thing about me. Such a shame, because she was a beautiful lady. My ex-best friend from college was like that. She also once told me, you'd actually be hot if you put any effort into yourself. When I finally did figure out how to dress my body, plus size girl graduating from cheap cargo pants and loose shirts to clothes that actually fit me, she said something about how I might be competition for her when it came to guys at the bars and clubs. She always talked about how men would say she was a unique beauty and how they'd never seen a woman who looked as beautiful as her. I had to laugh after we stopped being friends because I swear I've seen 6 of her doppelgangers and they were such a resemblance that I'd actually ducked and dodged being seen because I thought it was her. It was a volatile friendship overall, and I burned that bridge good to flee the toxicity. These were in states I knew it was unlikely she'd even be there the same time as me if at all. I was not gonna take the chance. But yeah. Unique beauty having so many doppelgangers? Not so unique. This friend got super jealous of everyone who posed some sort of power threat to her. Girl she thought was prettier. Must be a bitch. She even got jealous of her friends' partners because they posed a conflict in attention, as in the partner was stealing her friends away from her and she wouldn't get all her friends' time. I noticed this when she continually called her friend's girlfriend an evil bitch, and then I got to know the girlfriend in a class we took together, and she was the sweetest, most lovely woman. Ex-friend then made a huge stink about how much I talked about my new boyfriend. We've been together for 9 years now. When I started dating him, I listened to all her stories about her male conquests, and I wasn't allowed to talk about my own boyfriend. Ugh. My experience is not that other girls dislike me. Has happened once or twice. It's certainly not the norm, but more that they think you don't need their friendship because you're probably already popular and outgoing. People in general, not just women, sometimes equate attractiveness with social skills and general likability. When you look good, it can be perceived as confidence, and in reality I'm not at all confident. Most of my girlfriends are gorgeous. Well yeah, you live in a bubble where the friend group only consists of good looking people. That happens really rarely. Attractive people tend to walk together. I remember seeing a study that said that best friends often are on the same level of attractiveness or something like that. I'm too lazy to look it up, but what she says makes sense. I'm moderately handsome. The best way to explain it is it is kind of like a social lubricant. Also provides me with an excellent gaydar. I feel you on the gaydar. I'm attractive enough that gay dudes, at least subconsciously, display a little interest, at least long enough to figure out if I'm also gay. But I'm not attractive enough to get attention from girls. It's okay though, cause my wife would probably hate that. A lot of gays have a different type than girls tend to have. OFC hot is hot at the end of the day, but what one considers a specific type of hot tends to be different between gays and girls. I can answer this question because I've, somewhat, experienced both sides. In my undergrad I was a very traditionally attractive man. Nice hair, symmetrical face, worked out a lot, and had good social skills. Fast forward 6 or 7 years, and my hairline has receded enough to where my nice hair isn't as nice, and I've put on some weight. Not an insurmountable amount of weight, but I'm sitting at 240 pounds with less muscle than when I was at 210. I'm not ugly, but certainly not the same as I was at 20. The main differences I notice are just in smiles from strangers. I would have so many people just give me a bright smile when I walked around. That just happens a lot less now. It's honestly the only noticeable difference. I didn't really get free drinks or stuff at bars. Just was very easy to talk to people of both genders, partially because of looks and partially because of confidence. I'm sure if I got back on Tinder, my results would be way different this go around, so I'm not looking forward to that. Ah man, I've been fat and therefore ugly my entire life, and I was saying to myself earlier this week that I've finally reached a weight where people smile back. I'm down 160 so far, and it was like a switch got flipped. Return smiles, eye contact, all that. I've never hated people more. I feel kind of weird answering, but I've always been called attractive and a pretty girl, so here goes. I get free stuff all the time, even when I try to turn it down. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes the attention can be a bit uncomfortable. When I'm out at a bar, I will inevitably be cursed out and negged by some guys because I don't like having drinks bought for me. A lot of guys, not all, think that you owe them your time, and while I try to be polite and chat for a few minutes, it usually ends badly with them getting angry that that's all they get out of me. I don't know how to take compliments well, and while I admit that I think I'm cute on a good day, it embarrasses me to be made over the way some people do, and turns my anxiety up. I feel like if I go out in public without the perfect hair or makeup, that I may disappoint them. That's on me though, not them. I'm about to hit 32, and while my looks aren't fading, they are definitely changing. And honestly, it's taken me so long to feel good in my own skin that I'm enjoying myself now. I get a lot of guys who think I must be a dumbass because I'm pretty. And while I may have my moments of dumbassery, I'm not an idiot and can carry on a conversation. I love books. All kinds, all genres. So when someone starts talking down to me, I get irritated quickly, which turns into uppity bitch thinks she's too good for us, when all I wanted to do was finish the conversation we were having without being patronized. I used to be drop dead gorgeous sister-in-law, but I'm now 64-year-old female and have not only faded, but sagged, drooped, and wrinkled. I have never been happier. I never understood how beautiful I was until looking at photos years later, and it would take a novella to tell you how much it objectified me in the eyes of others. Now I'm a person. Period. And speaking of periods, teehee, when you hit menopause you will finally be free of the hormones that dictate your life. You will be free to be a person. I tell the grocery guys they are cute. I have a great job with no boss asking me to go above and beyond. None of this could have happened without my husband of 38 years, who only cared about my head and heart, not my looks. Look into a bright future. This is my favorite comment, and gave me the biggest smile. I can tell you're a beautiful person without even seeing you. I can totally relate to this. I've had so many guys get upset at bars because I don't want their free drinks, or I'm out with friends and don't want to talk to strangers. I had one guy ask for my number, and when I said yes, just to get him out of my face, he grabbed me by the wrist and dragged me out of the bar. It was so weird, but he felt I owed him my number. I was so scared that I gave him my real number because I didn't have time to think. By the time my friends realized where I was and came to get me, the guy left. He then called me 20 times a day for the next few days. That was in my 20s. Now I just completely ignore guys, or am super blunt. Usually they get the hint and leave. I'm okay with them thinking I'm a bitch, because I'm not about to waste 20 minutes talking to them and then politely excusing myself when they would think I'm a bitch anyway. What an asshole with zero boundaries. That would terrified me. I always say thank you, I'm taken but flattered, and you wouldn't believe, or I guess maybe ya would, how many people take offense to this as well. Damned if you don't, damned if you do. I came here to say exactly this. I still remember being drunk at a bar and a guy said I was gorgeous and that I'd probably use it to my advantage, or something along those lines. I remember going into a huge spiel about how it's not easy and it's not okay. Because I'm built well, had long blonde hair, people automatically believe you are stupid or have nothing to contribute. When you are attractive, it is like that's all people can talk about and the only thing they see, and it is very frustrating. I love dressing up and wearing natural looking makeup. But I feel so self-conscious wearing things half the time because I'm so concerned it will make me look unprofessional just because I'm something to look at. I don't share this with many people because obviously it sounds like I'm being conceited, but I'm truly not. I want to look great for myself, but absolutely hate all of the extra/unwanted attention and looks. I've had people ask how I get such hot girls to go out with me. I'm an average looking lesbian. I always say I treat them the opposite of how a guy treats them. They don't owe me crap because I bought them a $4 beer. I give them my number and move on. If they want to text or call me they can. It's not a crime to not be interested in someone. Just be nice and genuine and let people live their effing lives if they are out with their friends or just want to be left alone. I get called pretty and attractive a lot as well, but no one ever tries talking to me. I think it's my mannerisms, the way I carry myself, how awkward I am, and the way I glare at people. I also look a lot younger than my age. I'm 18. I was talking to a cute girl at a bar once, just talking about life and shit. The weirdest thing happened. Some guy came up and asked me if he could borrow her for a dance. She was totally down to dance. I just kinda gestured it was fine. But it was really weird that he asked me and not her. Sometimes I get free coffee or a free beer. Bartenders serve me more quickly than a lot of my friends. Those are some of the pros. Drunk people can be really aggressive with me. Like they think it's okay to squeeze my butt or touch me when I haven't indicated I'm interested at all. Sometimes I get the sense people are nicer to me and more respectful of me because I'm pretty, and as someone with low self-esteem in other areas that kind of f's with my head. I have made loose friends that work at different places. At this one Starbucks I can get a free drink. At Culver's I'll get their sweet discount, and now their coworkers know me, so I'll still get the discount if the right PPL are there. I'm okay though. If I was more physically imposing though I might have different experiences. And yeah, PPL tend to be nice. It's funny sometimes, because I feel like I go through cycles. Like for a month or two my acne breaks out kinda bad. I lose weight, bad haircut, and bam, less nice people. I don't know if I'm super attractive, but I'm decent enough, blonde, and skinny. I have a cool career and a lot of people treat me like a rock star because of it. I don't know, it's not bad. People are generally very nice to me, always wanting to talk to me, but they get too nice. I can barely go out and get drinks without some effort trying to rub the small of my back, you know? People seem very entitled to my personal space, and I constantly have to worry about coming off as too friendly for fear of them aggressively hitting on me. What field of career? If I'm not being too nosy. People stare at you a lot. As a person with social anxiety, it can be very uncomfortable. I've had strangers tell me I'm beautiful, people turn their head as I walk past, people coming up to me out of nowhere to ask for drinks, and it makes me uncomfortable as hell, because I'd rather just blend in the background. And I also made a girl question her sexuality, if that counts for anything. But my self-esteem is crap too though, lol. It makes me feel bad too though, because my mom once told me my brother said why can't I be as pretty as Rose Stare, and it made me really sad to know that my bro thinks of himself that way. And my mom was, and still is, very beautiful too. Whenever she would go to my school events, the next day my friends would collectively tell me she was so pretty. I see that men stare at her a lot, but now that she's getting older she's getting very self-conscious and bases a lot of her worth on her looks, and I don't want to be that way. It's just a sad way to live, being so focused on the way you look, and I hate that people put so much emphasis on it. There's so many better things in life to be doing than worrying about how you look. Also, a lot of people assume I have a boyfriend. No, I'm 18 and still haven't kissed someone, so that's why they are staring at me. Yeah, how often do you stare at ugly people, or for that matter decent looking people you don't find attractive? Probably not very often, and the same goes for everybody else. It's rough when the only person who constantly compliments your beauty is your mom. Like, calm down mom, you're making dad jealous. I heard that your dad was contemplating breaking your arms, but ultimately decided against it. It's nice tbh, that's the best way I can describe it. People are naturally more nice to you, and are more interested in what you have to say. You get asked out a lot, and told you're good looking multiple times a day by strangers, friends, and family. In general I'd say just everyday interactions are more pleasant. One thing I've noticed is that people also assume you're smart, blonde women in particular excluded. Some people say I'm the smartest person they know, when I know that's not true. Just what I'm saying gets received better from a pretty face. For females I'd say it's a little more extreme in both directions. Lots more attention and a lot more unwanted attention. Being an attractive guy is way easier than being an attractive girl. Honestly, it's great, unless you want an office job, where the hiring manager is unattractive and bitter about it. Also, whenever people try to insult me they call me things like pretty boy. Never really understood that. Your first thought when trying to offend me is damn he's attractive. Doesn't make any sense. I can't count how many times I've been complimented on my good looks because I've never been complimented on my looks. As a guy, people are intimidated of your looks and act accordingly. They are quick to point out flaws in order to bring you down. Basically, you have to act like the societal norm narcissistic asshole. A super good looking guy trained at my dojo, and the other guys were jealous and called him gay. He had an equally beautiful girlfriend, so it was obvious they called him that too. In some way, bring him down, or reassure themselves he was no romantic/sexual rival to them. I'm not a guy, but what's with the constant advice these people give? I'm not a group project. I didn't get dressed and leave the house trying to impress every person I walked by. I don't want to grow out my hair, or wear skirts more often, or smile just to please a stranger on the street. When you're pretty you really do get objectified more. I won't be the person that says oh, everyone is attractive in their own light. There are objectively ugly people all around, but most people aren't ugly, most people are simply average. The idea of super attractive applies to types. Look at someone like Jennifer Lawrence, or Lopez, or Garner, or whoever. She is objectively attractive, based on a good body, symmetrical face and style. But any of the above would only rank her 8 to 9 out of 10 to the masses. The 10 out of 10 is an 8 to 9 out of 10 that is your type. Some people like red-headed Asian women. Some prefer guys with slicked back hair that wear vests. Some have a thing for people in wheelchairs, or people that are a bit chubby, or really tall, heavily tattooed, and bald, like me. Whatever you are, keep in mind that someone is going to find you a 10. If you're lucky, you'll find them a 10 as well. This whole thread made me feel like shit until I read this comment right here. I think it's a pretty rubbish question anyway, if they expect attractive people to come forward. 1. Most attractive people don't think they're attractive, so they probably won't go to answer the question. People joke about Reddit being unattractive, but there's however many million members, so some of them are definitely attractive. They just won't answer. 2. If you've always been attractive, then you don't have anything to compare it to. How the world treats them for being attractive is just normal to them. The proper way to ask is how people have had their lives change after getting more attractive. More people are going to feel they can answer, because even if they went from 5/10 to a 6/10, they still fit the criteria. They can also compare it with a different life, and can actually say what's different. I've lost weight. I've worked on my appearance. I've picked clothes for looks, rather than just comfort. I've gotten more attractive. I wouldn't say I'm super attractive, but I've noticed that I do actually get compliments on my appearance, and I'm actually aware of girls flirting with me. I've improved more than just my physical appearance though. My social skills have improved, and I'm able to carry conversations with strangers and make friends easily. I'd say that I'm more attractive, but I wouldn't say I'm objectively attractive. I definitely don't feel that way. I'm average looking, borderline ugly, but my best friend was, and still is, super attractive. She had so many guys after her in high school that she started to just hide out in the gym locker room during lunch. We would eat our lunch there and just hang out for the hour until our next class. The guys could not take no for an answer. They even went as far as grabbing her, but which she always responded with a swift punch to the gut. She had a boyfriend who was in college, so she got married right out of high school. She has been married now for 8 years and has a 4-year-old now, and she still gets unsolicited advances wherever she goes. Well, people get real mad at you if you admit you realize you are attractive or even discuss looks in any way. You get a lot of confidence though, which is nice, and are more likely to try outlandish things. Cause yeah, you get away with more, and even though people tend to hate you a bit, they also look up to you. Which is pretty silly and weird feeling, cause you didn't earn it through actions. Sometimes you get opportunities or leniency just cause of you how you look, but sometimes you lose opportunities too. You get taken less seriously, and people assume you are stupid, assume you can't possibly have any issues, and it becomes a major part of your identity, so you have a hard time with things like aging. You also get more attention than you really want, and some people feel entitled to you. These aren't universal things exactly, but that's my experience. Serious answer. I have fast metabolism, fair skin, grey eyes, naturally long eyelashes, long and straight hair, pretty thin/average, and a "nice smile." A lot of people point it out to me, and I get super embarrassed. Like really embarrassed. I tell myself I'm too skinny, but my friends say otherwise. A lot of guys from school hit on me, and I ignore them. I hit puberty early, when I was 10, and I got taller. More guys hit on me, even when I was 10. Fucking 10. I'm glad to be attractive, but I just hate it when literally everyone in my life points it out. I was once at a pub with my father as he ordered a pint of Jack Daniels. I sit down, and I see a couple of lads staring at me. I notice them, and I turn away. I tell my father that this place is uncomfortable, as an excuse, and that I wanted to move. We did. The guy stopped staring at me. Keep in mind I was 12 or 13 when I was at that pub. It was noon, and in most pubs you're allowed to go, even if you're a young child. You just needed supervision. Effing pedophiles. They looked like they were in their mid-late 30s. 21-year-old female. Older people treat me like a child, and not just in a mean way, but a well errant you just the cutest thing kind of way. If I dress up I'm considered slutty, and looking for attention dressing up is only to impress strange men apparently. If I dress down then I could put in some effort maybe. I can do better. Free stuff sometimes. Dudes will offer weed and alcohol to come to their parties. I used to go to a gaming cafe and the owner gave me free hours because pretty girls like you make guys come here more. Not allowed to be sad. Too pretty to not smile. Who cares about what unfortune has happened in my personal life? This stranger thinks I'm too pretty to be affected by it. Guys touch my lower back all the time to move past me. How often are you touching other dudes to move past them? There's enough room for us all. Insecure girls think I plot for their boyfriends. Secure girls ask about my hair/makeup routine. People underestimate me, especially in laborious jobs/activities. It hurts they initially think little of me, but I get brownie points for pulling my weight and get put on a pedestal if I do more than my fair share. Sometimes guys just act like my friend because they're interested in dating me. If I turn them down then they immediately ghost me. Hurts cause I thought we genuinely were friends. Best perk is kids love me. I'm more approachable to them. I'll sing and dance and do tricks for them so anytime I walked into a room. I used to be a nursery teacher. A gaggle of children would group hug me. I'm not conventionally attractive by any means, but the girl I was dating was. She used to regularly get hit on at bars and stuff when we went out. She never wanted me to say anything. She was very independent. Used to get kicked out of bars cause she didn't take crap from guys who didn't listen to the word no. It's not really relevant, but we had a very serious relationship and ultimately broke up so she could work on her mental health and see a therapist and spend some time alone. I guess she hadn't really spent a large amount of time single and discovering herself. I guess that happens when you're attractive. This happened recently. I never really thought I truly loved someone until her. I'm so utterly heartbroken I can barely get through a whole day without crying. When she broke up with me, she promised me she still loved me. She promised me she'd tell me if she ever stopped. I can't not wait for her. I love her way too much. Honestly I guess I just need to vent. I'm such a mess. Pretty attractive man here. It's nice. People talk about it like it's something to talk about which can be uncomfortable, but it's still okay. I was in a relationship with a girl who wasn't as attractive as me, and people were not shy about letting me know that I could do better, which wasn't very pleasant. But like I said, people talk about it like they're talking about a painting on the wall or a TV show. I work in a store where customers can leave reviews of the service online, and usually people will say I don't remember the guy's name, but he's very handsome/presentable and everybody immediately knows it's me. As a guy you don't get the same overly eager sweeters that I imagine women do, but there are still plenty of times where someone is overly forward. It's pretty regular tbh. I'm quite muscular as well, and I'm pretty tall, and like to dress well, so sometimes when I walk down the street people stare, which makes me nervous cause I can't tell if they are staring for some other reason, but my ex-GF pointed out that it's out of admiration. But yeah, it's nice. Sometimes I get free stuff. People are also nicer to me than they are to my less attractive friends, which is messed up, but it's funny because you wouldn't think people would be so messed up, but lo and behold. If you travel you may find places where you're considered super attractive as well as super unattractive. I've visited and lived in both places. However, coming from the latter to the former I was caught off guard. People seem nicer. They are less rude. If you are upset or in danger more people will care. There is a comedian, DL Hughley, who has a whole routine about this. Tears matter when you're attractive. Sometimes it isn't clear whether people are making conversation or flirting. Then, you get ambushed by your backward friend. It is safe to hang out and watch TV, but not when it turns out he had other interests and never let you know. Where you are less attractive men feel more entitled to touch you. They act like they are doing you a favor by fondling you without your permission. I had to deal with strangers sticking their hands in my pants, pinning me against walls, squeezing my breasts in public. I had to get away on my own. Then people scolded me for not drawing attention to the perv. Where you're more attractive they are too timid to try because they are sure that either someone will step in and beat them up or you'll file rape charges or both. Oh, more attractive also means more free stuff or major discounts. I can clean up at the local Apple store, as long as whoever helps me is male. I can't pull this off in my hometown. I don't consider myself to be an attractive man, but I've been told I'm by a significant number of people of all sorts. I still don't see it, but I had a friend kindly tell me, "You just aren't your own type," which really helped my confidence in my appearance. People tend to have very polarized reactions to me, and by that I mean I don't know many people who have a neutral opinion of me. Everyone seems to either really like me or really dislike me right from the start, and I find this is hardly ever related to anything I actually do. That's part of the reason I like Reddit and the internet so much, as people actually judge me by what I say and do rather than my appearance and the assumptions they immediately make from that. People assume a lot immediately. They assign you into stereotypes and most people are exceptionally reluctant to change that perception of you. It's harmless but annoying when the stereotype they think you are is the handsome and nice, but stupid, but over time it's really impacted my self-confidence by so many people assuming I must be an idiot. Admittedly, I have a goofy sense of humor which doesn't help with that perception of me. I find other men are the most problematic. Some guys act extremely aggressively towards me from the moment they see me. I get a lot of demands to fight people. I struggle to back down from conflict, and I'm scared that one day I'm going to get dragged into trouble I can't talk my way out of. I'm a big dude, but I don't want to gamble on a fight going wrong quickly. The worst part is when I know someone likes me but doesn't have the courage to approach me and say what they feel. Everyone has their emotions written plainly in their eyes more often than not. I'm too familiar with the look of admiration, fear, embarrassment, and sometimes regret when people talk to me. Too many people don't have enough faith in themselves and assume in their own minds that other people are out of their league, when that's really not true at all. I just wish they'd speak their minds and hearts freely instead of so poorly trying to hide it. I believe it would go better for them than they think. I've never thought of myself super attractive, but my body type did attract a lot of attention. Big boobs, slim blonde hair, at one point, so you know. I'd get served faster in bars, free things here and there, mainly food places. I've heard men say rather lewd things about what they would like to do to me, which is scary. I've been chatting to friends in clubs and bars and had people come up behind me and grope me. I rang my friend once cause I was bored and they asked if it was okay with their friend group if I could hang out. Someone asked if I was hot and another mutual acquaintance shouted yes, so I was allowed. Like if my physical appearance was acceptable I could go and obviously be fun to hit on. I once honestly had a lad pull up his car so his friend could take a picture. I was walking somewhere alone and I have never run so fast in my entire life to get somewhere else. I'm 32 now but still look relatively young now. I actively dress down because I hate drawing attention to myself. Obligatory wouldn't consider myself super attractive, but definitely considered very attractive by universal standards. As a man, it's not as beneficial as you'd think. The women who make moves on attractive guys are generally not the attractive women. Bigger/older gals have evolved to be more socially daring. Hot girls are entirely alien to the idea of making moves on people, so you still gotta put in the work. You don't get strangers buying you things, or offering to pay for your drinks, or surprising you with romantic gestures. Handsome men couldn't just slap on a v-neck shirt and get people to throw money at them on Twitch, unless they were famous or something. There's some social studies that say attractive men are more likely to rise faster in the corporate world and such, but honestly I've never really noticed anything like that which wasn't behind the scenes stuff. If it's true, it's almost entirely subliminal, and certainly not universal. You get hit hard by aging, watching your looks fade, your belly paunch, fighting to keep fit forever, worrying about balding. It's probably easier for men than women, since we tend to age a little more gracefully on the whole. Going grey, for example, isn't as bad for a man than a woman, but it still sucks watching yourself going downhill with each passing day. Sometimes it can F with your relationships. Jealousy can be a real problem for your S/O. Likewise, if a good looking guy knows he's good looking and he settles on someone he considers not on his level of attractiveness, it can lead to resentment and relationship self-sabotage. There's benefits to be had, sure. It's easier to have sex in general, especially if you don't care about quality, and you can often parlay that sex into something exotic. threesomes, fetish stuff, etc. People generally default to treating you nicely. All gender/orientations, you actually get compliments once in a while, which for most men are basically unicorns, but even attractive men still rarely get them, and it's easier to make friends with strangers, but handsome doesn't fix social anxiety. Most of this is no more game changing than a really likable or interesting person experiences. However, basically as men we all walk through the same door, it's just that ours usually requires less force to open, still requires the effort though. Women always reap way more benefits of being attractive than men do. When I read this guy's comment, I'm basically looking in the mirror. He hit it on the head exactly. I'll also throw in that being a good looking guy and going out to a club or bar, chicks will 100% prejudge you and your motivations. You can't just talk and have a nice convo. Either they expect/want you to go balls to wall sexy, or they think you're a man whore and give you a cold shoulder or cock block you from their friends. And it isn't always clear which landmine you're about to walk on. Lol. I'm considered a pretty good looking lady. I could say the same things as most that have commented, that it's generally nice, but can be annoying out at bars, when guys won't leave you alone. But one comment will always stand out to me. I was at a bar, and introduced to a friend of a friend. Got to chatting a bit, and he says, "I'm so glad I talked to you cause I thought you were a stuck-up bitch." I asked him why he thought this, and he said it was cause of how I looked so perfect. He is super gay and was not hitting on me, but apparently thought good looking, well put together women are stuck up bitches. I would say I'm a 7.5. I'm not super attractive, but I get girls hitting on me and that kind of thing more than I'd expect a normal dude to. I'm very new to being attractive because I'm very recently at my lowest weight in my life, down 67 pounds from my worst when just a year ago I was probably around 30 pounds heavier. Started losing weight at 5 minutes and 11 seconds and 262 pounds, and today I stand at 6 feet 1 inch and 195 lbs. I always heard I had a handsome face, and once I got arms and got rid of my gut and tits I started hearing more and bolder compliments. It is very fun, since it's not something I've not always been able to enjoy, but it doesn't solve everything. I'm still working on having confidence with girls that matches how confident I maybe should be. Pretty college girls are intimidating. Dudes do get creepers too. Old women are horny and aggressive. And for every attractive girl that expresses interest I have 10 old or otherwise non-attractive women going over the top. I have thick long hair that is my best feature, and strangers very often want to touch it. It's awesome when it's a cute girl, but just a little uncomfortable when it's anybody else. I don't mind too much though, because I lost weight. I still have times when I look at myself and am like, ugh crap, that looks bad. I'll have a puffy shirt or just ate a huge meal or whatever and am like, ugh, I'm a disgusting flappy mess. This chick is never gonna go for this. Beauty definitely is in the eye of the beholder. I've seen beautiful girls with dudes who are as fat as I used to be, or have a busted face, or whatever. A lot of girls I'll try to hit on are just as not impressed with me as when I was fat. I'm not super attractive, but I do consider myself pretty/cute. Not sexy in any way at all. Just awkward cute. The good thing is, I've been called beautiful before by strangers, men and women, which can be a nice boost when I'm having a bad day. But sometimes the compliment can border on sexual harassment. You would look sexy in nothing but a bra and lace. I was wearing professional top with some lace when they said this. This being said, some advice for all girls and some guys who may need it. If someone finds you attractive and you don't feel the same, you have to define boundaries when at work, school or in your social life. Another thing you need to be mindful of is always be on guard when at a bar, club, or drinking at a party where you don't know a lot of people. Keep an eye on your drink at all times, and if it leaves your sight it no longer exists. My husband pokes fun, because I do this sometimes, when we are not at a party or drinking. I'll leave half-filled juice and water cups throughout our apartment. *WHEN walking alone at night. Be mindful of your surroundings. Make sure you have sights on the people around you. If you can, call someone you trust, and stay on the line with them until you feel safe. Not everyone who is nice to you has your best interests in mind. It's sad we live in a world like this, but it's best to be safe, whether or not you feel attractive. I like to think I'm a fairly attractive guy. I'm also very emotional and get attached very easily. I really hate thinking that I've developed a legitimately nice connection to someone only for them to hook up with me for, I guess, bragging rights and then not really talk to me again. I want to love people. I'm not just some object to have sex with to boost your own ego and improve your self-perceptions. Do you know what it's like to be super attractive? Leave a comment down below. Remember to like and subscribe, toodles.